Hello everyone, we welcome all of you. This is the third day in a row when you're watching a wonderful festival of linoleum, and our meetings are going on. Our educational program is taking place together with the library of projectors. So here at the projector you can see all of our lectures, all of our meetings. My name is Sasha Ruben. I will be the curator of our wonderful communication. We will be speaking about a wonderful and needed animation film which has the name Take Care of Yourself, a little series done by wonderful girls Kateryna and Anastasia. I will tell important information, then I'll give the floor to them, and we are beginning to speak about this TV show and watch some of the episodes. I'd like to remind you that the lecture is taking place within the project of Linoleum and Squiggly Animation Magazine edition, which has the name of I'm Fine, and implemented with the support of British Council within the Seasons of Culture of UK in Ukraine. So, okay, we will be speaking today how fine it will be when you are not fine, and how cool and how perfect that you created such an animation film which has the name Take Care About Yourself. I will introduce you, Anastasia Falileieva, the film director of animation, stop-motion animator, my talented colleague, I'm so happy to see her, and Kateryna Voropai, creative copywriter and producer. And of course, she is working in the communication project of Your Family Doctor, and it seems to me that this cooperation with the project is given the birth of this multi-episode animation film with short episodes and cool recommendations how to take care of yourself. Kateryna, could you please tell, how did you invent such an idea? How did it take place? Because it's super necessary now, and I'd like to have lots of seasons of your project. So please tell. Thank you. So, we are in the project of Your Family Doctor, are working with mental health for a long time. We did it a year ago and half a year ago, and we were planning this winter to have different educational projects for doctors, for Ukrainians, in different formats. Those are text materials and printed materials and animation, when we are doing that for more than once already. And here on the 24th of February, in the beginning of March, we were calling with to our team and we were discussing. We never stopped our work. Some of us were just sometimes vanishing, but then the work was going on. And the topic of mental health, as we understood, is becoming more and more relevant. So we are creating online lectures and webinars for the doctors. So we understood that we need to do something for the wider audience. Still, we understood that there are some of the details with the production and our opportunities. And here I saw the post of Anastasia. Yes, coming back to Anastasia, who was planning to create something similar, so I understood that this is a match. We used to work together before, and now I understood that we need to do something together instantly, right now. That was March, the beginning. Yeah. So could you please tell when Kateryna wrote to you and said, you need to do something with mental health of our clients, of all of our doctors, of everybody, all the Ukrainians? What did you tell her? Okay, let's do that. Yes, it was looking like this from my behalf. On the 24th of February, me and my boyfriend are taking the best decision in my life to go to Irpin. And this was the beginning of the story about the PTSD and all the rest, but I'll tell about that later. When we moved out from Irpin, that was the last moment available, and everything was really bad. So instantly, as an experienced client of psychotherapists, I understood that I instantly need to get to the expert. So I called him to the hotline of Israeli psychologists who are helping Ukrainians during the war, and called them and said, I can't do anything. I cannot volunteer because I don't know how, I don't want, I don't have any efforts. What I can do is just to create animations. I can't help in any other way. And then he said, well, to get something on your mind and to feel needed, create animation about the mental health. He had the website, he gave me several tips what I can use, and first, using enthusiasm, I thought, okay, I will crowdfund, and for the documentaries, for the docu-days help, I created a page, I raised money, I said that the movie will take, but I didn't have an inspiration. I'm raising money, but the cartoon is not done. Then Kateryna is coming and says, Anastasia, let's do not just an animation, but the series. I was amazed, so yes, this was a kind of a light bulb. And even the whole over Ivano-Frankivsk, I could see this rainbow. And then Kateryna said that since then we created this series. I couldn't even imagine that during the war someone will come to me and say, Anastasia, let's create an animation series. How can you imagine that? And through animation, it's easier to speak out some of the important things. Thanks to animation, you can... Well, you see, when you are sitting in front of the doctor, a therapist, or a psychiatrist, doesn't matter whom, maybe even the traumatologist or anybody else, and when you're speaking about the traumatic events, it's hard for you. But when the doctor is so seriously talking to you, it's hard. It's hard to overcome that, to understand. But when it's animation, you can do any, I don't know, a pillow, a bug. You can make this kind of a rainbow, and then it's becoming alive, and then you have its fun. So in fact, it's not bad. So of course, though it used to be bad, but now it's easier for you. Kateryna, you wanted to add anything? Yes, I would like to add, because when Nastya was communicating with her psychologist, and first of all, she created the first picture, that she's creating the animation film about the mental health, I liked the style. So I was communicating with the psychologists whom I cooperated with before in different projects, and I had my own psychotherapy. So we were thinking, what's important to speak out now about? What information for people to be aware of, and how? So if I understood, I understood that if we are writing just the text, those recommendations, do this and that, it won't be working. So we wanted to create content which wouldn't be educational, but it would just show the state of calming down, and it would be cute, it would be audio-visually positive, and to support people in some way. So we understood that there are some of the cool psychologists, but they will be lost in the text. Even such short visual stories can be perceived with better quality and with more use. Could you please say, there are recommendations of yours? By the way, I would ask you now to send the links to the YouTube for your episodes, for people not to lose them, for our viewers to see that, to tap onto the link and to make some, well, in fact, not to lose the opportunity to rewatch them later, those recommendations and episodes. So how is the episode created? Cool and just perfect psychologists, guys and ladies. Just a moment, I will send the link. Where should I send it? To the private chat, or where should I do that? Yes, you can send it to the private chat. So this is the link to the playlist in YouTube. So if you can, please take the link from the private chat. And I think that Anastasia, who is always with us, Anastasia Falileieva is sitting at each lecture, and she hears that, and she will send this link for our viewers. So how is the episode created? This is a short interview of a psychologist who gives recommendations for some request. And you create just some kind of accompanying of this request. First, we were brainstorming and writing down lots of topics which we would like to raise. Then we offered those topics to different psychologists, what resonates into them in the format, what's the sense to speak about, in a very short way. Then we developed the first episode and created the structure where first we have the actualization of the problem for the viewer to feel that that's about me or not about me, because not all of the episodes are for everyone. Then we are telling a bit There is even a little bit of theory, what is taking place, why we are feeling like this. And in each episode, then we tried to provide you with exercises or recommendations, or we were helping the viewers to look at the situation from a different perspective, to look at it from the different factors. So each of the psychologists, I was offering a topic together, and then we were working with each psychologist according to the structure. It was a kind of a plot, a scenario written together with a psychologist. Okay, perfect. Could you please tell? Okay, girls, am I frozen? No, everything is okay. Because I can see the time with the mug and I'm frozen. No, everything is okay. You're unfrozen. So, the thing is, when you were writing those topics, you were taking some topics from your personal lives, which are very painful for you. So, the topic is about the burnout, that before the war we had this burnout as well. That is incredible. So we sped up a bit. I'm speaking about that every time because it was like that. We had so crazy speeds that we did not even understand whether it was Monday or Friday, winter or summer, and what is where. Were there any topics which were really relevant for you, which were really important for you? And did you create the cartoons, the animation films for these topics? Are they found in this series? Which topics are those? For me, the most relevant topic was the guilt of a survivor, because when I was sitting in Irpin and we had a house, I wanted to go and donate blood because I have the fourth group of blood, which is not that well. It's not that frequent. Everybody told me, "Where are you going? You should see it because it's very dangerous to donate now." And I wanted to do that, but even later, when I went to Ivano-Frankivsk, I felt it. I'm sitting and having coffee, so it was really the most relevant for me, the guilt of a survivor. It's for you, the most painful. Yes, and then I sent it to lots of my friends as well. How was it to work with this episode? Because as far as I understand, it's not only about the creation of the content, but it also the therapeutic function. When you do something really personal, you take it out of yourself. How was the work? It was okay to work on that because it's my usual approach, my usual way to work on the films. All of my films is to take some shit out of me and to put it into the beautiful package, then to give it to the people for them to suffer as well. Is it easier for you when you take it out of you, when you take the painful topic? Yes, it is much easier. It's getting easier. And when you edit it for several days, for several months, for instance, when you create the editing of 3 or 4 days, then the psychologist is telling you all the time during several days. The guilt is normal. You're living with the normal life. So you're listening to this voice again. It calms you down. So really, all the information is perceived as if under hypnosis. So you wake up saying that I'm a normal person. Yes, it gets in your brain and mind. I'm okay. I'm totally calm and quiet. This series really helped me. If I didn't make this work, I would totally go insane. Kateryna, what episode is your most important one? The most important, super important. Well, I don't know. Yes, about the guilt as well, because I thought that I could go to the cafe and to take the cup of coffee only after we issued this episode about the guilt of survivor. An important episode is about burnout, because I'm sometimes coming back to it still and think we need to rewatch it. Do you rewatch them? Well, no, I do not rewatch them, but I have this voice in my mind, yes. An important episode is number 1, because for me personally, I'm working with a psychologist for the first time, and I thought, I didn't know how to breathe, I couldn't do anything. So for me, I could see rather comprehensible exercises in this episode, which I practiced before, some usual and simple breathing exercises. I seemed to know theory, but I never did it, in fact, because I remember the moment when Anastasia sent me editing, and I can see how the character is breathing. I understood that you shouldn't do like that. I even made a video how you should breathe, and then I understood how I should breathe myself. Yes, it's a nice advice. I should breathe like that. Cool. By the way, we have the opportunity to see several episodes. We chose two, the best ones. Well, they are all cool. They are all about the painful, about the personal. Some of the episodes, you really need to watch them in the intimate atmosphere, because there is an episode. Yes, for instance, one of my favorite episodes is how to overcome the loss of the closed one. I wanted to show it, but ladies told me, you need to watch this episode on your own. Then I thought, and I totally agree with that now. That's very personal. So what we can all see now, I'm offering to watch now for all of the viewers the episode about the burnout, because we are speaking about it. Our topic is I'm fine, as if I'm fine when I'm not fine at all. So let's listen to the recommendations of the professional, what we should do with that. If we have the opportunity, let's watch episode number 4. Yeah, it's like a lottery. Yes, episode number 4. Let's watch it now together, if we can. Turn it on. How do we prevent the emotional burnout? What we do with the constant feeling of exhaustion, the feeling of the lack of hope and the wish to separate yourself. When you feel that you're not useful, even when you're at the leading front line, emotional burnout is not a disease, but a very threatful state which distorts your life. When we are into something valuable but still very monotonous, first it inspires us, gives us emotional raise. We are serving, working, volunteering, we are having some of the tasks and degrees, but still forget about our own health, sleep, food, physical activity, intellectual and spiritual development. But the thing is that different parts of our brain are responsible for totally different habits and skills and functions. So when our life becomes monotonous, the brain is making this part of brain tense and cannot be distributed into others. So the same things are taking place. The body is getting slow, so we are feeling ourselves trapped. It is so important to understand the following. Whatever is the war, still, we need to take care about ourselves. We should find at least half an hour, and it's better to have several hours for our own affairs. Not just going into Instagram or watching a TV show, but just to deal with yourself. Because you will win only when you love yourself, when you allow yourself to have the full-scale relaxation. Fill yourself with resource. Physical one, which is food, sleep, walks and sports. Psychological one, hobby, active, relaxation and self-development. Social, that is communication with the people with whom it is becoming easier and better for you. Take care about yourself in the way how you take care about Ukraine. God, it is so beautiful. I'm just watching it, and you always used to watch it, and now when Anastasia came to this conversation in this sweater, I then understood where this sweater is from. Yes, it's a heroic sweater. I was in it every day. It was so dirty. I had 2 of them, and it was one of them. And also I had white pants. And when we were deciding how to create a movie, I said, Kateryna, there is one detail, and it is so important. I would like to create a character in this sweater, because this sweater, first of all, is so blue. This is the color of hope. And also, it had so many sufferings in its life. So Nastya already created the first scenes, the characters, and I thought, that's an interesting sweater, okay. And when I began to think of that, she wrote, I will explain you why the character has such a sweater, because that's my sweater from Irpin. And that is just beautiful, that's perfect. Because in each nice story there is some, well, not only message, deeper messages, which of course we need to have more and more, but also some objects. Just anything. Because, for instance, a hairpin, which I was showing, I just really loved it, so I bought it. It's fun for me, so sometimes I put it on. Or the sweater, or anything. It could be some mug, or a spoon, or, I don't know, whatever. Which supports the person. A very simple thing. By the way, Anastasia, I'm just turning on the computer. Everything is okay. She made a teaser. She said something will take place now and left. So, did you have such things which you were wearing? Well, Anastasia had a sweater on. Kateryna, did you had anything like this? I don't know, your favorite hat? A mug. I evacuated my grandparents and I left with my laptop and in just whatever I was wearing. I had the syndicate hat with the inscription Kyiv, so I wore it till May, it seems to me. I couldn't take it off. I just needed something from my home. Some of the things which I brought with me. Well, and I don't know, I'm still not in Ukraine. I have to stay with my grandparents, so I'm supported by the work and cooperation with Ukrainians. And the computer connection with Ukraine. So, as it was told by the psychologist, that your energy is filled in the cooperation with your friends and relatives, with your close ones, for the sake of Ukraine. Yes, I was never doing that before. Well, I was not doing that with such enthusiasm. What's also important, Andriy is a military psychologist, so we were writing each other and we created this video long ago because he's always not in touch with us, or he told us that they have really hard events taking place there, so he wrote what was happening there. We said, okay, let us delay, let us prolong it. We are waiting for you. If you can see, he made a video from below, not to see the location where he was at. Of course, we didn't have many shots for voiceover or script coordination because it was a very special process. It was special because I can see some of the details, but still everything is coming together. When you can see the blue sky behind Andriy, we understand that he's military. Lots of people subscribed for him, and we understood that he doesn't have to show where he is at. He's just showing the blue sky. And then we can see the volunteer in this wonderful blue sweater, you see? So all of that is working together. I don't know, maybe... Well, of course, the professionals like these things, they instantly notice that, but the viewer may not see that and notice that. That is a very personal and important thing, and that's what's making that not that trivial, not just to find some incomprehensible and put some sweater on the character. We were also thinking, well, in fact, it would be better if we were reading these, voiceovering these recommendations with some really, well, announcer, but it was so important for us to have our psychologists who are coming through, overcoming this important and complicated experience. We have the video when there is the psychologist and we can hear the baby crying there, so this was the moment when the people were living somewhere, coming back with their families. So we understood that that was not just a clever person speaking out, but a person who is in the same context, sharing what's relevant for him or her, and helps to listen to recommendations about burnout and about taking care of yourself from the person who is now at the front line. It's really very powerful. When the person tells you, and I know that there are lots of people who are volunteering now, and each of them achieved this state of burnout when you cannot do anything else. And even the people who even had to go to hospital, it's bad, because I understand that you would like to help everyone, and we need it, and the circumstances are like this. But still, Andrei Kremenchuk said a very important thing. You shouldn't take at least half an hour. When you're out of time, for about half an hour, you just think about yourself only. Could you please tell? First, I have two questions. First, did you ever have a burnout? Could you please tell about your own experience? And secondly, which is the follow-up of the first one, how did you help yourself? Were you taking yourself out for taking your hair as Münchhausen did? We can speak about that either the period before the war or during the war. Could you share your experience? Anastasia, what will you tell us about the burnout? Have you ever had a burnout? Oh, I did. When I was 20, I had such a crazy burnout that I again had this fire in me only a couple of days ago. And I had to fill two forms from linoleum. I filled in the first one 10 days ago, and I said, I am in the state of burnout now. And the other one I filled in yesterday, and I wrote, I'm okay now. For a long time, while I was burned out, and it was a very huge piece of work, I could not draw, nothing was invented, I couldn't have any ideas born, even for commercial things. I could only take commercial projects, not to think about my own issues, just to think about the topics of the others. For instance, they give me the topic, I don't know, the English school, and you do that, and that's it. But then I began to think, maybe I will never be able to do any art. Maybe, well, I do apologize, but I am becoming older and my creative fire is now getting away. So, okay, so maybe, well, I was beginning to work when I was 14. That is why this getting old is much earlier for me. So at the moment, one moment, I decided to forget about that. I decided to relax, that I will not draw, and it was working. So about 5-6 days ago, I sat down and thought, but I would like to do it again. I'd like to do something, I'd like to work, I'd like to create scripts, everything. So I don't have any universal recommendation. It seems to me I was self-reflecting too much. I was pressing to myself. The psychologist told me, just get away from yourself, everything will be okay. And I was just making myself so I was torturing myself. The only recommendation, just stop torturing yourself. Yes, the anxious state is when you're speaking about the same, because you're telling the doctor, give me a pill and it will become better. The doctor says it does not exist. You need to become yourself, you need to cry, you need to go on the ceiling to watch a TV show, take 2 kilos of a cake, just try to be in that. But we are out of time, we need to do that as quickly as possible. Yes, definitely. And TikTok really helped me. My boyfriend hates TikTok. But I was watching TikTok 6 hours per day, sometimes 8 hours per day for the full day. I don't say it's good, but it really helped me. I never advise to do that, But if you want to watch TikTok, watch it. Cool, a wonderful recommendation. Kateryna, then the question to you. How did it take place when you had a burnout? Maybe in a couple of words. And what did you do to help yourself? When did I have a burnout? I had such an experience with each project. I'm just making it to the full throttle, then I burn out, then I know that I need to relax, to have some full-scale holiday or the full-scale day off, some Sunday at least. And it was working, Holy Sunday. Since the university times, I understood that I have a burnout, so I need to recharge, to reboot. It was harder with the war because I didn't know how can I organize the whole day of doing nothing. Lots of things depended on me, and it seemed to me that everybody around me couldn't cope without me, so I need to get up at 7, get to bed at midnight, and during the night I should plan the whole day with lots of tasks. But it turned out that I could do that in August, a month ago. I understood that either this is the end for me, and I will definitely won't help anyone then, or I should organize, because everybody can cope without me. I can organize the daily life and, well, not do nothing at all, but still organize a kind of mini holiday. What do you do in the holiday? What do you do in your holiday? We understand that there are some people who say, I need to have this quick relaxation, and after this quick relaxation, I will feel better and I will come back. I have 2 hours for relaxation. How can I relax? So I like at least to get somewhere to the river for about a day, to take only a cell phone but not a laptop, not to get to the working chats, or sometimes some physical work can help me, to paint the wall, to move the furniture. It may seem both useful and really differs from other types of work. So I can call you and tell you, Kateryna, I need to move some furniture. Could you help me with my wardrobe? From one room to another. Yes, I adore that. Cleaning Kateryna, cleaning service. Call her when she's bad. Yes, then I just changed the tasks. When I can't cope on my own, but then I can invent some other task. This is the wonderful thing about the energy to switch the tasks, and secondly, the nature of the walks, which Andrei Kremenchuk was mentioning about. Is it real now? Because lots of people, when this awful war took place, they understood that the nature is important. That it's not just important that we need to plant something, some of the cucumbers, tomatoes. Did you plant anything? Yes, we did. Well, I was just replanting the flowers. It was not working with the cucumbers, but yes, I had a kind of a garden or orchard. Or just listen to the music loudly and to go along the house or around the park or along the supermarket. When I was out of free time, but I needed to buy some products, I went with my grandparents and I turned on some music in the loud volume. I was buying some groceries, but I was present somewhere else. So you created a kind of back to the future, right? Yes, but not here. Okay, Anastasia, when you were speaking about the walks along the supermarket, Anastasia was so happy. Yes, because the entertainment with the supermarket was the one which I discovered during coronavirus. This was the only thing which we did with my mother. We went outside and went to ATB market. We bought different things to create cakes. And then 2 of us, we brought a huge package back. It was the best way. One day, we were so bored with my boyfriend in Irpin that we went to the queue to the store. We stood for 2.5 hours, then the mine was there and we decided to leave. But it was just cool to go to the store. You spent your 30 hryvnias and you said, yes, I'm alive. So, to understand that you have the opportunity to choose whatever you want, for 30 hryvnias even, as if you're fighting for your own life. that you're standing in this queue. Maybe I don't need anything in this queue, but still, I chose to stand in it and I will stand in it. This is my life. So you're just fighting for it. This was the only entertainment when the people were coming there, but you don't have internet. It was the only entertainment. I can imagine, Katya, what about the episode? Well, this is the usual traumatic experience, but we're speaking about that so easily, though it shouldn't mean that it is so cool for us. Oh, I hardly died, but it's so fun. Yes, it looks like this, as if we are a bit crazy, but still, humor helps you to overcome it and to look at it through the prism of the time that you already overcame it. As do you see everything? Well, unfortunately, we have the technical issue. We need to fix it.
А давай все-таки спробуємо зменшити якість. Пам'ятаєш, ти міняла...
Да, секунду. Це ви про ці проблеми кажете?
Ні, у нас ще інші проблеми.
Окей. Video resolution. Ну, давай на 720 поставимо. Да, я бачу, що в мене просто якийсь треш. Можна запишіть запис екрану, у мене це такий треш, мені так подобається.
Це ефект тіктока.
Це в'єнний ефект. До мене такого ефекту буде новий фільм. Я не жартую, він такий буде.
Клас. Коли все пливе, знаєш.
Да.
А я не пливу, ні?
Ні,
Ти шикарно, а я бачу, що я пливу ще.
Настя, а може ти можеш увімкнути світло в своїй кімнаті загалом загальне, а не тільки лампу? Можливо, через те, що темновато.
Ні, я не думаю, що це через це.
Може, треба ще раз переподключитися, Насті? Ну, типу, вийти з якихось...
Так, давай спробуємо швидко.
Я думаю, що це не через світло. Це
точно не через світло, це прям... Це просто якась лажа з інтернету сталася. То що мені...
Вау, яка ти гарна. Боже, ну це такий, як це Ван Гог.
Я вас благаю, хто-небудь.
So, hello again. As we told, we had some of the technical issues. We've already repaired it, and now coming back to the topic, we are speaking about that with such fun, but it doesn't mean that it is really fun, because life is an important topic. We have one more episode we'd like to watch now. It's about the state of despair, the state when you cannot get yourself together. when incredibly sad and hard,
такі, я навіть не знаю,
and I don't know,
да,
oppressing, yes,
вообще, там,
imposing ideas,
синонім якийсь придумати,
scary thoughts are coming to your head, to your mind, and you can't cope with that. This episode is so important because gloomy thoughts used to be before the huge invasion of our crazy neighbor, so we really, when everything was really fine and okay, sometimes it was not okay and fine with us. So let us watch what the psychologists advise how to cope with these ideas. If we have the opportunity, let's watch this short but cool episode together. What do you do if you are followed by the glooming thoughts? How to get rid of the haunting memories? Sometimes the usual events can get to the traumatic images in your mind. They can make you again and again live through the unpleasant events. The problem is that your brain is responding in the same way onto the real events and the memories about them. The amygdala signals about the danger and launch one of the three responses: fight, run, flee, or stay on the place, without understanding whether the threat is real or not. The thoughts are impacting your feelings and behavior strongly. That's why you should let go some of the unpleasant or haunting thoughts. What do? Sit comfortably. Imagine that you have the screen of a TV and your memories is an animation movie. There can be fun and sad moments in it. Sometimes they are scary. It will pass. Just imagine your memory, which is the scary. If it is black and white, make it colored. If it is colored, make it black and white. Then just imagine the word in your hand. So push the button and rewind it to the beginning, and now to the fast forward to the end. Then rewind it to the middle. Did it work? And now switch it to a totally different episode of a memory. Perfect. Then again, come back to the previous episode. And now, just turn off all of the animation films and memories, because you can always turn on and turn off any of the memories. But there are some of the thoughts which provoke memories and you don't want to come back to them at all. Then just imagine that this thought is on the balloon. Just imagine the size of this balloon, its color, its shape. Just imagine how you hold this balloon with the rope, how you let it go to the sky and it is flying high. And you don't see it at all. Remember that any skill needs to be trained, as the muscles in the gym. I believe in you, you will cope. God, what a wonderful cartoon. That's just an incredible episode. I just can't. Girls, could you please tell whether there will be more seasons of such an important support as these recommendations, these episodes? I think that we need to launch 200, 300, 500 of them, because there are so many points you need to overcome, to think through, to know how to cope with them. Kateryna, tell us, shall we have season 2 or not? Wow, that is the question. Well, in fact, yes. We were thinking how many episodes and which topics we should create, and not all of the topics can help us to create such a video. And what's important in these videos, the idea of this show, is to show that you can work with different psychological states and complicated situations. You need to do that. But this or that way can help to this or that person. For instance, we said what helps us to relax and to reboot yourself, and every single thing is inherent to some of the people. So this helps us to put some haunting memory to the balloon, then to recolor it, and then to let it go. So every way is inherent to every single person. You need to try different exercises in different situations. As for the topics, yes, if we find the topic which you didn't definitely need to create the video about, and if we can find the psychologist to find exercises for that, it could happen. But the viewers need to understand that a usual 2-minute episode is not the way to out. This is just the push to search for the solution of this issue. As they say, this is the creational push of the film director. When you invent some idea, this information is given to you that it exists, that you are legalizing this issue, that you name it. You're saying that it exists and you're saying it's okay to have it. There are some ways to overcome it. So you're giving the opportunity to the person. The person needs to understand that there is an opportunity to save himself or herself. Not just that it's the end, life is pain, and that's it. Yes, life is very complicated, especially now, but we can. I really like that in the end of this episode you said, you can, I believe you can do that. Did you have something like that when your close people and relatives were supporting you and they told you you can do it? And you coped with that. Do you have such stories? Maybe short stories like that. Something which would be life assuring. Or when I was watching the episode again and I heard the memories which can save you, the happiest ones. Do you have some memories which you came back to when you felt bad? Because we'd like to finalize this conversation on the positive note, the opportunity to leave this state, something bright, something wonderful. Kateryna, do you have anything like that? Well, I'm instantly coming back, well, because for more than half of the year I'm not in Ukraine. On the one hand, I evacuated my grandparents and it was really super complicated. Yes, the people are close to you, and some of the people who I didn't used to know, some Ukrainians or Europeans, and I understood the following steps, and they told me, yes, you can do that. I couldn't help doing that, so I had to listen to them. But as for the memories, those are all of my memories about Kyiv, about friends. All my life is there. So I'm constantly coming back to Kyiv in my memories, but it's very hard because so far I cannot come back there. But when you come back, where will you buy your coffee and where will you go to? Oh God. I was living at Podil and then around Gonchar Street, so morally I'm living still there. So you will buy coffee there and you will have a stroll there. Yes, I will never leave then from that part of the city. Yes, you will just say, guys, sorry, I'm staying there. And God, I feel such a great lack of cinema. I was living 2 minutes from Zhovten cinema. I was the person who saw that there can be a screening in 7 minutes, so I rushed in to watch the film from a big screen. So let's make a deal. As soon as you come back, we'll go to Zhovten cinema. Okay, Anastasia, what about you? What kept you on to hold on? Which memories? I had the memories about Kremenchuk and my family, because one of the biggest fears of mine was to die far from my parents. Because in the beginning of the war, I was with the parents of my boyfriend, and we didn't know each other that well. So I really wanted, if I am dying, to die with my relatives. So I looked through the pictures, I was remembering the travels with my grandparents and with my mom, because it seemed to me that the family is so important, and Kremenchuk is incredibly important for me. That's what held me on and on. As for the stories, the support, yes, as for the support, the incredible event took place in my life. In the beginning of summer, I was invited by the festival in Hiroshima in Japan. But I thought, guys, I don't have money sometimes to go to the store. What about the Japan? I was standing for 2.5 hours in the queue. Well, I'm not having so much of money, so the ticket to Japan costs several thousand euro. So I thought that if I spend all of my savings for the ticket to Japan, it wouldn't be cool. Then one of my friends told me, "Are you crazy? You want just to defy your dream just because you're out of money? Really? So, whenever you go, but you need to get to Japan. But it's such a pain in the ass. I need to go to Warsaw to get a visa, to get there for 5 days, then 5 days back. It's really hard, honestly." That is just incredible. I told her, "Vita, I don't have any resources and efforts." And she told me, "You have to." Then I was calling to my animator friend Rodion, hello, and Rodion told me, "Nastya, who if not you has to go to Japan? You wanted to go there so long ago." And all of my friends just began to go on, come on, come on. So some girl who I didn't know, she told me, "I can send you $200, just do that." So I created crowdfunding and my friends sent me whatever they could, 100 hryvnia or more, so they crowdfunded a ticket to Japan. And I went there. Yes, I left all my money there. Yes, it was really hard. I'm still... 3 days ago I came back. I have a full mess in my head, but only thanks to the support of my friends and my Japanese friends who told me, "Come on, just a bit." Only then I coped with that. If nobody told me, I wouldn't go. So I'm incredibly grateful to my friends that during such turbulent times, they did everything possible for it to take place. I think this is the brightest example of such a story about the support in my life. Did you tell that you went to Japan not as a tourist, but to screen your film? No, I did not. I'm just waiting when someone writes, "I do apologize, but you had a nice time in Japan for a week. Isn't it a bit too much? Doesn't it confuse you?" Yes, I went to the festival to Hiroshima, and I had already several invitations to Japan, but I couldn't get there because of coronavirus. Now, I thank you for reminding, because I thought that everybody knew that already. So yes, I went to the festival in Hiroshima, and then we had the different interviews about Japan. And we had the screening in Tokyo for the top cinema professionals of Japan. It was the closed of the cartoon, which has the name of "The Tiger is Wandering Around," the one after which you burnt out. Yes, it's the 12-minute stop-motion film. The burnout was natural. And I really like this conversation because there are two cases. There is Kateryna, who has burned out after each of the projects, and I, who is working, and then I have the 2-year pit, and then I'm working. I like that we have two examples, two ways. So your different pits do not coincide, and it's good, because they're coinciding like this. You are supporting each other, yes. When someone has more energy, he or she is getting the person and holding the person who doesn't have it. Those are super stories, and all of those episodes are super personal. All of the stories super personal, and that is why it's so valuable. This series is valuable because what you told us about, that's an incredible value. And I'm sure that the viewers will watch them today. Well, maybe not today, but tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. But you can watch one episode per day, and to watch them personally or with friends, or to advise it. So try to be healthy and advise and recommend this show, because it's really, really cool. I would like to wish you seasons 2, 3, 4, 5. How many seasons did Game of Thrones have? Please, no, I don't want more. I was drawing all of that on my own. But we have the recommendations of the psychologists and their phone numbers. If there are any questions, we have some time left. If you've got any questions, you can write them down. Anastasia Falileieva will send those questions to me, to my phone, not to distract from our guests. Do you have any recommendations for the creative people? Well, maybe professional ones. How to all the animators and artists and scriptwriters and producers and actors can cope. What do they do when they don't feel fine? Now, watching whatever is taking place, you have already made this series. You have some experience how to overcome the traumatic experience, and you are still holding this strike. Do you have any professional secrets for the professionals who are watching us? What do we do with the work when when you don't cope? Yes, how can you work in your professional sphere? Your own little personal secret. When it's not working, you still need to distract yourself, at least for a bit, and to switch yourself for something else. Those could be different stories. When the project is not working, but you cannot refuse to do it, but if it's not your story, then maybe you should get rid of it. You should finalize it. You shouldn't do what is not doing. You need to know how to say no. Yes, it's so important. You should understand this as early as possible. If you begin, you have some offer, and you feel that it's not your story, definitely. You shouldn't do that. It will be bad for you and all your colleagues with whom you are cooperating. An important recommendation: one day I was told, your life consists not of how many times you said yes, but how many times you said no. Well, because if it's not yours, if it's not your thing, then you think, what's my thing? When it appears, it will appear when you know how not to do what's not your thing. When you go where it is scary. When you think, I need to create a series, I don't know how, but you go and do it. Yes, when you have such a feeling, wow, it will work. So, when you're really attracted, but still simultaneously are so scared, then you should definitely go there. You should look at what's attractive, and then the fear should stay, but you still go on. You shouldn't just go to, oh my God, I suck, nothing is working. That's only when it's interesting. It's a cool recommendation. Say no when it's not your thing, it's not working, you don't feel anything in your soul, it's not yours. And, of course, you should do when it's super your thing, but you are scared. It shouldn't be that strong as a fear. When I'm, in fact, really touched by it, you don't know how, but you really want to do it, then you should do it. Because if you don't do it, you won't respect yourself. Well, it's a different topic, whether you respect yourself or not. I understood one more thing. I left burnout when I said no to the things which really were keeping me in the past and really sucked some energy from me. We had such a conversation with Sasha about the project, and I said, how can I say no? Yes, people can think that you are not professional, that you wanted to deceive someone. If it doesn't work, just give the money back and say, I don't want to work more. Or don't give the money back, but substantiate it. I've already done the work. Here is the work, what I've done. That's it. Otherwise, it won't work. You will be angry, sick, and that's it. So it's so important to say no. It is so hard. It is so hard, but you feel such an inspiration every time. You need to refuse. This is kind of a freedom. Yes, the freedom of saying no. You will never be good for everyone. There will always be a person who will be offended. The business is working like this. You need to say no. You shouldn't make yourself, because, yes, it sounds trivial. You can say, sure, it's easy to say, but no. You should choose yourself, and that's it. By the way, Anastasia Falileieva is asking, how was this film perceived, your film perceived in Japan? Tell me how it is. I can tell you one thing. One very important Japanese film director, a very important one of them, gave me $1,000 personally for my next movie. I can't tell who that is, because it's really insider information. Yeah, okay, of course, we understand you. We were crying and wailing. I do hope that when this film is out, I will ask him, and maybe I can write his name. But this is my favorite film director, the guy I'm praying for. This is how this film was perceived in Japan. It's not Miyazaki. It's not Miyazaki. Yeah, I understood it's not Miyazaki, because you could have a different hint for Miyazaki. But this guy is really of the world scale. I was crying out. My friend who organized the screening was crying. Everybody was crying. God, it's so touching, incredible. So, summing up our conversation, you should really watch the series and take care of yourself. And take care not only while watching the series, but after you watch it. Make some of the little exercises, the steps towards yourself, your body, your emotional good state. If you have a resource, ask whether anybody needs help and help your relatives. Do not forget that you are healthy, you are bright, you are good, you are beautiful and handsome. You need to help each other. If you are not bright and handsome and if you don't have relaxation, you will not be able to help anyone. That is so important. If you are fully giving out yourself, you will be out of yourself and you will not do anything good. But we are all creative people, really should understand the following thing. I would like for all of us, creative people, to be able to work as efficiently as possible. Yes, of course, we will have burnouts. I understand that. We will. We will still have it, because creativity, as we had the conversations with the psychologists, we had those conversations very often, and he said, you and the creativity, for instance, this sweater, when it's very personal, this is the personal story of yours, so you're reflecting your personality into your work. Someone says that you're a shit, you can't do anything, then of course you're offended. You're really offended by that because you think that it's about you personally. You have such eyes, such size of the foot, such hair, and you're bad. But you need to separate yourself as a person and your creativity. Because when you are told, I don't like your picture, it doesn't mean that you're shit. You shouldn't have it. There are lots of people who perceive criticism in a bad way. And really, these feedback can be bad. We instantly say, it's shit, we don't like it. We don't know how to provide normal critical feedback. We say, I'm not okay. What's not okay? It's not professional. I can say, I like this and that, but what I don't like is this and that. Not just it's nothing, because those labels really offend all the creative people, and that's incredibly horrible. Instantly your wish vanishes, you always think that you will never work anymore, and I'm nothing, and of course, it's a very important thing for all of the creative people. We will have burnouts, and it's okay. Burnout is okay. When you take out your soul and invest it into some work, whether those are songs or dances or animation films or scripts or books or novels or short stories, because when you're finalizing your work, you're over yourself. You are becoming old and you're dying. for some time. So you need to separate. Yes, you're like phoenix. You will take up from the ashes. I'd like to add a bit. Lots of people know that I was in depression for 3 years in a row, a real one. And the burnout, my burnout, really looked like depression because it seems to me that it will never end. This is one of the markers of depression, that it will be forever. I will stay in this shit forever. But what's cool, that the burnout has the end, and you need to remember it. And this is the idea which everybody told me when I was just wailing that I'm burning out and I won't be able to create. It will have the end. Maybe not in the month, not in the half of the year, maybe in 2 years, how it was at my place, maybe, but still it will definitely have the end. I promise. You see? I do. Yes, she shows that she's promising. This is really an important thing. We always are afraid of the state when we don't know anything. You're looking at the sheet of paper and you're just becoming angry. You still think that that's it, this is the end. I've already drawn, so I need to change my profession. Changing the profession is okay as well. To leave the profession is always good. When you leave the profession, you close the doors, you go away, and that's it, and you're never coming back. It's not true. You can change your profession for some time, and then you come back and write the best book ever. You can create the best picture ever. You can shoot the best film or animation ever. I'm just begging you, and it's a very mature thing to think like this. Everything has its own end. The war will end as well. We need to live through till the end. We need to get ourselves back from the ashes, to take our hair like Münchhausen, and we can do that. Whatever you think, whatever you can help you with yourself. So you need and you have some force to do that. It's not scary to burn out. It's scary to stay in the same state and to think that's it. And yes, well, you need to pity yourself a bit, but it's a bit too convenient dump, which you cannot get into. And one more thing, what I say in each of my interviews and speeches, do not be afraid to get to the expert, to the psychologist, psychotherapist, and psychiatrist. The psychiatrists are not scary, they can help you, and you will have a cool and full-fledged life. No one will tell you that you're totally crazy. He will never get you to the asylum. He will just help you. He will give you the pills, which you will take. Maybe you will have to take it. Oh, the air raid alert. So you will have it maybe for about 3 years, but still you will have it, of course. So please go to the psychologists, and yes, if you've got any of the paints, please put it closer to the screen and we will charge you with useful information. It will be warm and light now. I can feel that you will die. I will not tell you when. So the family doctor is leaving this chat. All of the psychotherapists will tell, I could see you online, and they will say, yes, this is the crazy thing, sure. By the way, in the end of our conversation, I'd like to emphasize, we need to create cool content. We are this cool content. We are doing that, soaking through them ourselves. We are living the part of ourselves in this content. It will be hard for us to get this separation of this link, of this Sichela from Avatar, and so your thing will be separate from your life. It's a different story, how it can be perceived as it was done by you, it was so successful, or maybe not successful, it doesn't matter, because success can be sold, you can have it or not have it, you shouldn't pay attention to that. So we need to create lots of cool things. Well, we have to is not the right word, but we can. And we will. And even during the war. especially during the war.
Того, що ці, які оце зараз нам сирени,
Because those who are now launching missiles and turning on air raid alerts, they want us to be unhappy and they want to convince us that we don't have future. We have the future. We can do whatever we want because they will not tell us what we should do. Kateryna,
якесь напутственне слово на...
can you have some final recommendations in the end?
подумала, що яка кльова.
I just thought, what a cool final recommendation from Anastasia. I totally agree with that.
Ми зробимо контент, і я...
So we'll create content and please, season 2 and 3, I'm waiting for it so much.
Це бажання. Я
I will send this wish to the space and I hope it will take place. Thank you, girls, for such an important thing that you are working during the war, that we are all working on creating content. A huge love to you, and this sweater, for instance, will stay in my heart, in the Museum of Ukrainian Animation. Sure, it will stay. I will remind you that we have Megago and 244 animation works waiting for our viewers, for you to watch them for free. Please enjoy them, create the content. You have the right to burn out.
втрачати сенси, але
You have the right to lose the senses, but
усі разом.
create cool animation together. Thank you, girls, for this conversation. It's incredibly important. I love you so much.
Чи завтра
So see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Kyiv time, we'll be speaking about a burnout. It will be really useful. So please join, and you ladies join as well. It will be really cool, full of sense, all of the subtleties, how to hold on. Of course, with the same topic which you have already raised today.
на все добре.
Thank you. Have a good day. Do not ignore the air raid alerts and create animation. See you. Goodbye.